This place has a rather dubious reputation, but when you come here in person, you realize it's actually quite nice, which does make me wonder, is that reputation actually on purpose to keep the Dubliners out? Welcome to County Louth's town on the Boyne, Drogheda. Drogheda feels like an old city, not only because of the visual reminders, but also because it has a bit that vibe of a city that knows its historical importance, and it has nothing to prove. It has so much history to look back on. So now it just gets to be chill. Like, the people here feel a lot more chill than in Dublin. Like, people walk a lot slower. You don't have to jump out of people's ways. There is also a lot of more spaces in the city centre to just go for walks. Of course, the Greenway is gorgeous for a longer walk as well. And there are also quite a bunch of more pedestrian areas in the city centre that make the city quite walkable.
Drogheda is 42 kilometres north of Dublin. It takes about 1 hour or 40 minutes by bus or train in order to get here. Of course, we came by our favourite mode of transportation, the train, and this isn't actually on the Dart. Just like Skerries, it is outside of the Dart on the intercity link rail line. Now, the town definitely has a couple modes of transportation. Since we're here, we've seen some buses. Of course, we came in by train. There are also express buses to Dublin as well. One of the things that we also are curious about is cycling. Right here, we're standing right by the Boyne River, the walkway, and we do see a couple of people on cycles, but we do wonder how far they go into the city or if they're actually making a cycle path as well.
If you've been watching our channel for a while, you know that we love a good walk by a body of water. And that's probably why we love this Greenway as well. You can just walk along the river Boyne, that I'll try not to pronounce as Boyne. It makes you feel a bit like you're, for example, next to the Danube or just walking along the ocean as you keep walking and walking and walking. We've walked to this one gorgeous bridge and not further, but I think if you're motivated, there's really far you can go. Maybe on a bicycle rather by foot to make sure you can also come back.
Now, we're here standing right next to the Greenway, and we have also a lovely set of parks. It's one of the great things that, besides the wonderful walk on the Greenway, they also have invested some time to put some green spaces that you can chill, sit and relax, though probably not in the rainy weather. You gotta wait for summer for that, and just relax and watch the river.
The architecture in the city centre is definitely very medieval, with some newer buildings and also some dilapidated buildings interspersed.
Now, one of the interesting things about the architecture is that this town is very, very old, which means it has some stuff from back in what I would say the medieval period. Someone correct me if I'm actually wrong with the dates there, but stuff that is centuries years old. And one of those things is St. Lawrence Gate. It's actually a part of the old city wall, or to be more precise, a barbican. Yeah, you need to Google exactly what that is, but it's kind of like one of those gated areas that was before the main gate. The thing is that it has one here that is still standing, and it's one of the best preserved, I think, in Europe. I think that in an effort to continue its preservation, the residents here in Drogheda actually decided that it should no longer be allowed for the cars to pass underneath. It's crazy thinking that on your morning commute, at one point, you used to drive under this crazy piece of history.
One thing we're not very used to that the city has is hills. The whole city is up the hill, down the hill, which creates actually a really nice panorama when you're by the river, because you see the city rise on either side of the river. And there's also multiple levels to the city sometimes, which reminded us a bit of Edinburgh. So if you're using online maps, make sure to plan in some extra minutes and not get lost because you were on the wrong level of street like we were earlier.
Like most old cities, it does have some accommodation within the actual city centre. I've always been a fan of accommodation inside the city centre because I just like to think of the lifestyle you have, where you have lots of access to your amenities. Speaking of amenities, so far we've been here, we've definitely seen a mall, there's a cinema, there's some shopping streets. It's built like an actual town where for one of the first times we realised that if we lived here, we wouldn't have to go to Dublin. I think that it looks like you can get most of what you need right here in the town. As with most towns, the accommodation and housing and neighbourhoods are actually not in the city centre. Like with most Irish towns, it seems like it spirals outwards from the city centre, where there are large neighbourhoods of pockets of suburbia. We do wonder what it's like to live in the suburbs because, as with most towns that we see, it looks like your main mode of transportation once you live in the suburbs is by car. Yes, what's to get with the car? I do think that in this place, having a car would be essential for your everyday living. From what I can see on maps, there are little stores like Aldi's and so on like that within the neighbourhoods themselves, a bit on the outskirts. So having a car would definitely be a thing I think will be necessary if you're living here in Drogheda.
Part of the reason that Drogheda also has a bit more of the old school feel is that there aren't that many hipster places. It's not like Dublin where you see 10 bubble tea stores on every corner. There are a few. You'll still get your bubble tea here, but it feels like the more kind of modern places, there's like just enough to supply the youth for anyone interested in keeping up with the trends. However, there are a lot of international cuisines and restaurants here, so you won't get bored easily of trying out new things.
Overall, Drogheda is a town that we've visited 2 to 3 times now, but we still haven't finished exploring. We love the variety of places to eat and the location in the Boyne Valley with the close proximity to nature. There seems to be a sense of community spirit, which despite the troubles it's seen in the past, lives on, as evidenced by the lots of families and people out for St. Paddy's Day.
If you enjoyed the medieval city of Drogheda, make sure to check out the Waterford for another best place to live with a lot of medieval architecture and good places to eat. Also make sure to like and subscribe, and see you next time. Bye!
Fish better.